the remnants of the ancient Mount Mazama, now known as Crater Lake in southern Oregon. Mount Mazama is one of the many volcanoes that runs along the Cascade Range in western North America. This volcanic range was formed over millions of years from the subduction zone along the oceanic continental convergent plate boundary along the Pacific Ring of Fire. The less dense oceanic crust was pushed under the denser continental crust, and the oceanic crust melted to form magma, which, during volcanic activity, rose to the surface to create volcanic domes. Mount Mazama is one of the more recent volcanoes, forming about 500,000 years ago. And around 8,000 years ago, this volcano was predicted to have been around 12,000 feet tall, a result of various volcanic eruptions releasing pumice, ash, cinders, and andesitic lava that slowly built this volcano to its massive height. Then, 7,700 years ago, this massive volcano erupted, producing a pyroclastic flow of pumice and ash that reached over 8 states and 3 Canadian provinces. That was 42 times the magnitude of the 1980 Mount St. Helens eruption. And during the eruption, Mount Mazama's magma chamber, which is 5 kilometers underground, was completely drained, leaving a giant hole underneath the volcano. Because the volcano lost all of its structural support, it caved in onto itself, leaving a caldera, a bowl-shaped volcanic depression. This caldera is now known as Crater Lake. Crater Lake is 5 miles in diameter and 1,943 feet deep, making it the deepest lake in the entire United States. The water inside is so clear because it is mainly the result of melted snow that's also one of the clearest lakes in the world. Since the collapse of the volcanic dome, the volcano itself has begun to rebuild itself using volcanic eruptions. Behind me is Wizard Island, which is one of the volcanic domes that's currently being built, and that reaches 764 feet above the water surface. There are 2 other volcanic domes that are being created, but they are still underneath the water surface. Soon after scientists found the lake and began exploring, a group of scientists, including William Steele, set out to make this a national park to ensure its protection. After 17 years of fighting Congress, the legislation was passed, and Teddy Roosevelt signed the bill into action. Regardless of its status, scientists then realized that Crater Lake was being polluted by sewage water. However, this was hard to prove because there hadn't been many studies done to show if there had been a change. In fact, for 80 years, only a few scientists had ever studied the lake itself. This realization sparked interest by many researchers around the world, and in 1883, the first researchers, Joseph Diller and Everett Hayden, began to explore. Then, in 1886, the men took a piano wire to measure the lake's depth in 186 spots around the lake. Their maximum measurement was 1,996 feet deep, which is close to the actual depth of 1,943 feet. In 1892, scientists began measuring the water level by writing a line on the side of the rock with the name O.H. Hertzberger and the date to give future scientists a reference point to measure the water's depth and changes. Now there is an instrument that is used to measure the water's depth, and it shows that the water changes 0.01 feet 4 times a day. Barton Everman, another scientist, was the first to measure the lake's temperature. He found that as you go deeper into the lake, the temperature rises. So he believed that magma was still heating the bottom of the lake. However, researchers after him came, and according to their results, as you go deeper into the lake, the temperature actually decreases. And they realized that the magma is not still heating the bottom of the lake. These and other research studies were extremely important in ensuring the safety of this lake. Once changes were identified, they could be studied further to determine their causes, and then these causes could be stopped. Now geologists study the lake to determine if there's any volcanic activity. As of right now, a massive eruption is unlikely because they haven't had signs of any volcanic activity in the past 5,000 years. Research of the lake sediment has also shown that there is no movement in the magma chamber. Furthermore, they have not had any volcanic-related earthquakes, which also proves that a massive eruption is unlikely. In situations like this, there's also a chance that the caldera wall can fail, which will produce massive flooding. However, this hasn't happened since the massive eruption 7,700 years ago, and as of right now, they don't believe that it will happen anytime soon.
So for now, Crater Lake is just a safe place to observe one of nature's most beautiful landforms.